This is how Stuart Knechtle handled one of the hardest questions.
How do you know you're right? And how do you have such conviction? Where does that stem from?
Well, we don't know we're right. That's why it's faith. But everybody lives by faith and belief.
Sure.
Even the most ardent scientists live by many rules of faith and belief. I mean, they need constants going into their experiments, right? They're going to believe in those constants before they start their experiments. Well, that's faith right there. So we don't have certainty or proof. There's next to nothing in this life that you can truly prove. That's why we go by the evidence. That's why the militant atheist who says, oh, faith is just, begins where reason leaves off, is completely wrong. There's a faith statement within that they're making because they can't prove what they're saying there. So you can't prove if there is a God and you can't prove if there is no God. But we live by the conviction of how we live, how we think, what our relationships, why is loving at the center of our existence if we've just evolved red in tooth and claw? That doesn't make any sense. There's a spiritual existence. As a mental health therapist, I talk with people endlessly, even if they're atheists, about a spiritual realm. Everybody believes in that now to some extent. So we have convictions, but we don't have proof. But it's back to Jack. I find Jack very interesting when he talked about how he's a good guy. Well, how do you know you're a good guy? People define that differently in every kind of way, but